Hey there, and welcome to the Building High Value WordPress Sites Facebook Live video. Hope you guys had a great Memorial Day weekend. And today we're going to be talking about free website builders. And the big question on everyone's mind is, are you losing clients to free website builders? In other words, are platforms like Wix and Squarespace stealing your clients? And if the answer is yes, we're going to talk about some things you can do to combat that. And if the answer is no, then great, but is it for the right reasons? Because if it's not for the right reasons, you could be in for an exhausting, long battle for all of that. So there's some things that these free website builders are really good at. And I can remember, I'm old enough to remember when it was really hard to build a website. And, the act of putting a website on the internet was a big deal. And so you had to hire a web developer to do it. It was expensive. Not all businesses could pull it off. And if you were one of the ones that could, then good for you. Well, now it's totally different now. Anybody can build a website. Anybody can, even your own client. Hey, Rick, good to see you again. Anybody can build a website. You can build your own website. And in fact, we've had clients call us. And in fact, I even have a partnership with a software firm that sells medical software and so forth. And they do two things. The first thing they do is, if they run into a doctor that needs a website, they say, give us $500 and we'll teach you how to use Wix. And if then the doctors go and build their own websites. And the other thing is, if they want to do something more valuable than that, then they send them our way. So that really opens up a very interesting question, because I know that there's a ton of WordPress developers out there that are selling websites for about $500. And or even less sometimes. I remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking about the $50 WordPress advertisement that we saw. And so this is a direct competition with these free website builders. And so if you're in the business of building really low budget WordPress websites, you have to ask yourself the question, what are you doing that someone couldn't do for themselves on their own using Wix? And here's the thing. Oftentimes the answer to that question is, the person just doesn't want to use Wix. They just don't feel like doing it. They don't have the time. They are just interested in running their own business. So in the case of these doctors, these doctors are frequently really, really busy, and they don't have time to put together a website. They could do it. It's not like they're too dumb or whatever, and they could definitely do it. They just don't want to. They would prefer to invest their time in doing other things. And so that's why they hire other web developers to help them out. But here's the thing. They have in their mind that they have an alternative of perhaps building their own website. So what that means is the value that they attribute to working with you is competing against the pain of the value in their mind against having to do it themselves, or potentially hiring someone else to do something very similar. And so that means if someone says, what's it going to cost to build a website? And you say $5,000, they're going to go, whoa, that's too much, because I could just build the thing for myself over the weekend for free. And so that is a really hard battle to fight. And so what do you do about it? What do you do? How do you get it so that your clients aren't comparing you with Wix or with Squarespace? What do you do about that? And so here's the thing. The main thing that you do about that is you bring more to the table. And I'm not just talking about a better design or a more responsive website or anything like that. I'm talking about concepts and ideas. See, most of the time, there's a couple of really big, critical issues that none of our clients know anything about. One of them tends to be copywriting. And how do you tell the story of your client's business? And this applies to tons of people that we've worked with. We even work with some nonprofits and churches and stuff. And churches are notoriously awful at writing copy for their website, and not just churches, but businesses too. There's so many people out there that can't seem to convey what they're doing in a way that resonates with anybody. And part of the problem is they spend way too much time talking about the nitty-gritty details of what it is that they do. And the reason they talk about that is what they know. They know the thing that they do, and so they talk about it. But the problem with that is nobody cares unless they first buy into the concept that the stuff that they're reading about is actually going to give them an outcome that they want. in the case of like the church websites, if somebody wants to go to church there or whatever, they want to know that they're going to be able to, get the kind of stuff that they're looking for. Or if they're talking about a doctor, they want to know whether or not the doctor can treat the problem that they're having, rather than just the generic details of whatever programs are offered. And so there's very little conversation on people's websites that draw new clients in. So if your client goes to somewhere like Wix or Squarespace and just tries to build their website themselves, maybe it'll look okay. Maybe it'll even be responsive and work well on mobile devices, but that doesn't really matter. All websites basically now are responsive and look pretty good and work on mobile devices. And it doesn't, nobody cares about that. What people really care about is the website going to help grow the business? That's the bottom line. So if you're in the mix with competing against Squarespace or Wix or whatever, or even other WordPress developers that are, charging just, pennies on the dollar, and they're just really low budget solutions for folks, then, oftentimes it's just going to be this. I actually gave a talk about this not long ago, and it was called Is Your Website a Soggy Bag of Fireworks? Was the name of the talk. And what it meant, the purpose of the whole website was, that so many people build these websites. I mean, this is like, I see this all over the place all the time, every day. People are putting together these websites, and they're investing so much time and energy into the logo and into the colors and into the design. And then, even the web developers are investing a lot of time into writing these long, lengthy proposals about how they test on all these different browsers and whatever. But they're missing the whole point. The whole thing is just going over everyone's heads. And the point is, none of that actually matters if the website's not going to do anything. And the whole point of the talk about Is Your Website a Soggy Bag of Fireworks? You spend all of this time and this energy investing in your website, or at least you think you are. And even if you're working with a web agency, the web agency's out there putting together logos and designs and site maps and things like that. And then you, as the business owner, are back at your office trying to describe what it is that you do, doing the best you can to write your homepage and your about page and describe the different aspects of your business and so forth. And, weeks of time go into this. And then you eventually launch the website. And now it's on the internet, and everybody's super happy. And you expect this huge explosion of color and light and awesomeness like the 4th of July. And it turns out nothing happens. Nothing happens. It's like all your fireworks are duds. It's a soggy bag of fireworks. And then you begin to ask yourself why. Why is it the case? And what's even worse? What's even worse is if it's not a brand new website, if it's actually a website redesign. Because what that means is you've got a client who's already got a website, and it's not doing the stuff that they want. They already have the website. It's just not bringing in leads. It's not telling their story appropriately. It's not converting traffic into customers, right? And so that's why they want to build a new website. And so they come to a web designer or developer, and they build this new website. And the reason it's even worse is because they could have just not done that and been better off or just equally as good off as they were before. And so the expectation with the website redesign is, okay, well, we have a website, but when we redesign it, now it's really going to bring in the customers. And then, of course, it doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because it doesn't have the stuff on it that actually matters. It doesn't tell the story appropriately. It doesn't have any way for customers to actually connect in with the store owner or the business owner. There's no way for the business owner to learn about each individual visitor to the site so that they can communicate with that visitor in an appropriate way. And so, I tell this all the time, but it never gets old because it's such a critical thing. Everybody's business, or almost everybody's business, has multiple aspects to it, right? So the dietitian example is always a really good one. We work with dietitians a lot. And, dietitians do multiple things for people. And this one particular dietitian we work with specializes in gluten sensitivity, diabetic care for blood sugar stuff, and weight loss. And so when people show up at the website, you need to know which individual visitor is interested in which aspect of what you're doing. And so you can't be sending, weight loss stuff to the gluten-free guy and vice versa. You need to be able to talk about the stuff that they care about. And when these individual store business owners show up at somewhere like Wix, they don't have anybody to help them with that. They don't know about how to do this sort of stuff. They're not copywriters by nature. They haven't thought through all of these things. All they know is they need to get a website on the internet, and Wix is a free way to do it. And so they spend this time, and it's wasted time, and they would have been better off just buying ads or something like that and not spending the time doing this stuff on the internet. So if you're losing clients to free website builders, the thing that you do about it is you bring more to the table. So you say to your client, I can do all of the things that you want to do based on what you said, like if you were going to build a free website yourself. And in addition to that, let me show you how we can put some processes in place so that as your website is on the internet and as people are going to it, it means something for your business. And I'm talking about connecting with the people that show up at your website, learning what the people that show up at your website want on an individual basis, not like as a group. How do you deal with like sending out newsletters? Like when you send out a newsletter to somebody to let people know that you've got a new service or a new doctor works at your office or you're going to do a book signing or something like that if you're an author, whatever it is that you want to send out in your newsletter, how do you know what piece of information in the newsletter each individual member of your email list cares about? How do you figure that out? How do you set that up? And once you know it, what do you do with that information? See, these are all things that your clients don't know anything about. They probably have never even heard of the tools used to pull these types of things off. And even if they have, they don't even want to do this. This is stuff that stuff that we do. This is stuff that you do. It's the internet stuff. And the reason they're coming to you is for help with that. And so if you can show up at the meeting table and talk about these types of concepts, about how you can legitimately help people grow their businesses with their website, that puts you in a totally different category from the folks building free websites and in a totally different category from even WordPress developers cranking out $500 websites. So that is a really big issue. So if you're losing clients to free website builders, that's how you overcome it. Now, if you're winning clients to these free website builders, there's a good way and a bad way to be winning the client. The bad way to be winning the client is simply relieving them of the pain of having to build the website themselves. So someone could say, like I was just talking to you about this partnership that we have with this medical software company. One of the things that they do, kind of by default, is they just offer these, a little bit of training to show people how to build free websites for themselves. But when they say they don't want to do that, oftentimes it's because they just don't want to spend the time. So if you're winning the client because they don't want to spend the time doing it themselves, then you've got this ceiling on how much you can charge for your work. And you need to break through that ceiling if you want to actually provide a lot more value to your customer and to yourself. And it's a win-win for everybody. And it's on us as web developers to show up at the meeting table and talk to our clients about things that they don't know. And if you can do that, then what you'll notice is people will shift the way they think about working with you. And instead of thinking, hey, you know what, I want to buy a cheap website, now they're thinking, hey, you know what, I'm going to be working with somebody that's actually going to lead us with regard to the internet aspect of how we market and grow our business. And that is a totally different thing. Do you see? It's a little bit subtle because the website is still in the mix, but it's a huge intellectual shift. It's a huge financial shift. And it really totally changes the entire situation, because when somebody thinks they're just going to get a website, everybody's selling websites, right? It's like, how do you differentiate yourself? What can you say about yourself that's going to cause your client to think, hey, working with this person is better than working with everybody else? What can you say about what you can do that's different and better than what everyone else is doing? And when you look around at what everyone else is doing, you'll notice that everyone is just building websites. That's all that people are doing. And they're competing with free website builders. But they don't think that's what they're doing, especially in the WordPress community. And one of the reasons they don't think this is what they're doing, especially in the WordPress community, is because WordPress sites can be put together in such a wide variety of ways. There's so many ways to build WordPress sites. There's so many different themes. There's so many different plugins. There's something for everybody when it comes to putting together a WordPress site. And so for tech folks, that are web developers, they think they've got the corner on the market because their theme is better than other people's themes, or they've got the right combination of plugins that really makes the difference, or their SEO plugin is better than everyone else's SEO plugin. And you know what? Maybe that's true, but your clients don't care. That's the point. Your clients care about the outcome. They don't care about the internal stuff that's happening in the website. And and this is like, I always fall into this problem because like I like talking about the tech stuff. I like talking about I build plugins. I spent years and years of my life building plugins. I love talking about that stuff. And like I'll show up at like Thanksgiving or something with my family, and I've got relatives that don't know squat about the internet. And they're like, oh, so what are you doing? And I try to tell them what I'm doing. And I say, oh, yeah, I got this new plugin, and here's what it does. And the people don't care. They don't know anything about it. But when I realized that I could change the way I talk about what I'm doing, and now, like especially with what we're doing right here in this group, helping WordPress developers make more money by actually using the skills that they have in a way that generates better outcomes for their clients. That's what we do here. And when I say just like that one sentence, everyone seems to understand because they understand the value of the outcome. And so back to the thing about what happens if you you win these clients away from free website builders, but the wrong way to do it is to just say that, I'll save yourself the trouble and the time for building your own website and just let me do it. And then you ultimately end up with the same thing as they would have ended up with had they done it themselves. They don't have to spend the time doing it themselves. And so that is the low budget, low value way to go about it. The right way to go about it, and this will fundamentally change your business. If you pull this off, this will totally change the way that you interact with your clients, the way your clients think about what they're buying from you, the way you interact on an ongoing basis with your clients. And even, one of the best things that this changes for you is it saves you from that feast and famine mode of spiky, unpredictable income, where sometimes you have so many clients you don't know what to do about it, and you even sometimes have to turn people away, and then you finish that work, and then you get into that section of your season where you don't have any clients. And the reason you don't have any clients now is because you were so busy working on all the clients you used to have, churning out the websites, cranking out the work as fast as you could. You didn't have the time to be looking for new clients to fill the gap. And so now you've done all the work and you don't have any new clients, and now you have no work at all. And so if you do what we're talking about right here, and you change the way your client thinks about working with you, it fixes that problem too. And so it's a win for everybody. It's a win for your clients because you're actually building a website that's not a soggy bag of fireworks, and instead it's a colorful explosion of awesome. That's going to be great. You're fixing the problem for your clients' customers, because now their customers are finding out about their services, learning about products and stuff that are going to be really meaningful to their lives. That's why they're becoming customers. And they might not have been customers had it not been for your help with your client, helping them put the message on their site better, put the tools and the systems and processes in place on their site so that they can do something with the traffic that flows across it. And then, of course, you're winning too, because now you're not stressing yourself out all the time, trying to frantically build websites all over the place that aren't actually helping anyone, and dealing with all that spiky income issue where you have an uncertain and unknown amount of time where you don't even know where your next client's coming from. This solves all of those problems for everybody. And the answer to the whole thing is, once you get these processes in place, you don't have to let the client go. In fact, they don't want you to let them go. So for example, if you're driving traffic, I know I talk to a lot of people that offer digital marketing services of various sorts: pay-per-click, AdWords, Facebook ads, content marketing, whatever, even podcasts and stuff. And all of the purpose of all of those things is to drive the traffic to the site. And obviously, of course, you need to have somebody visit the site in order for anything to matter at all. So it's critical to be able to either offer those services yourself or partner with people that do, so you can drive the traffic. But if that's all that you're doing, if that's where you stop, it's going to be really, really hard to sell that, because it's an expense to your client without any sort of guaranteed return on investment of any sort, because it's just traffic flowing across the website. And then if you let the website go at that point, like say you launch the website and then you just let it go to your client, even if the digital marketing that you do is working, what are they going to do with it? They don't know how to handle the traffic. It's up to you to be able to figure out how to manage all of that stuff. Not only do they not know what to do, they don't want to know what to do because they're so busy doing their actual business. They need someone to help them with the online aspect of what they're doing. And so you stick with the clients and you help them learn who their customers are, and not just learn who they are, but learn what they want, what aspect of the business is interesting to them, what do they care about. And here's the other thing too, and please don't misunderstand me on this, because this is really something that's like deep in my heart about this whole issue. It's not about squeezing money out of people. If that's what you're doing, then just leave the group, because we're not going to meet eye to eye on anything. It's not about squeezing money out of people. It's about helping people. It's about serving people with all that you have. Not just you, but you're helping your clients serve their clients with all that they have. And when you're serving people with all that you have, it makes all the difference in the world, because that's what really matters to people. And when that happens, everybody wins. And I can't underscore that enough. Everyone wins when everyone is helping and serving other people. It's a win-win-win. It's like a triple win. Your customer is winning. The people that you're building the website for is winning because they're getting their message out. You're helping them serve people that they would not have been able to serve without your help. And that is huge. And without you doing that, we're withholding all of these blessings from the entire world. There's all these people that know how to really help people. I work with people that save people's lives. I kind of get emotional talking about it, because some of these people that are out there, they know how to make people's, like with the dietitians and the digestive stuff. There's people out there that can't do anything, that can't go out. They can't go to their kids' ball games. They can't go to birthday parties. They can't go to restaurants. They can't go anywhere, because if they have to eat something somewhere, they just can't do it. And so they have to stay home. And then they meet up with these doctors that can fix this problem, and suddenly they get their lives back. And if it wasn't for people like us helping people like them get that message out, then they'd just be stuck at home suffering all the time. But now, since you can help people with this, and you can get the message out, and you can actually let the people that come to the website find out that there are in fact solutions for these types of things, then they're changed. They're not isolated anymore. They're not alone. They can live with their families again. It's a huge deal. And it's a massive win. It's a life-changing, life-altering win for everyone involved. So your client is, of course, totally happy about all this stuff, because they love, their passion is helping people get out of this prison of the problems caused by food in their lives and their dietary problems. And then, of course, their customers have a whole new lease on life now. Where they once were just stuck in their house, now they're out and about living life. And then, of course, you're winning too, because you're the engine cranking all of this awesomeness. And so, and I can't even begin to put into words. I don't even know what the words are to say to express the difference between what I'm talking about right now versus just sending somebody off to Wix to put words on a web page. And that doesn't help anyone. Everyone loses when that happens. You lose because you lose the customer. Your customer loses because they're not helping. They've got this gift that they're not able to get out to the world. And then, of course, all the people that could have been helped by that, they're all losing too. And so if you're losing clients to free website builders, my really strong encouragement to you is learn the skills that you need to be able to do much more than that, right? And even if it's not free website builders, the vast majority of WordPress developers, the pattern of working with them is the client calls, they say they have a website, maybe they even have a couple Word documents or something with the words on it, and then they say, here, put these words on a web page, and then you do it. And it's the exact same result as if they had just done it themselves. They just, you just spare them the effort of having to do it. But it's still the losing mindset. It's still the losing structure of building these websites. And so if you're not losing clients to Wix because you're just saving people the pain of having to do it themselves, that's just an exhausting triple losing battle. And so the answer to all of this is fix all of that by coming to the table and showing your clients how to win. How can they actually reach people with what they're doing so that everyone is winning? And there's so many different ways to pull that off. And a lot of it, of course, depends on what your client's doing, what kind of products and services they're offering and so forth. But the overall point is when you fill your toolbox, right? Like the stuff that you know how to do, when you fill your toolbox with a lot of different tools, then when you show up at the meeting, you have access to the raw materials to actually build something that matters. And so you can listen to what they say. You can, of course, look at the documents or the Word docs or whatever that they come to the table with, read and learn about what their business is. And then you're going to be thinking of stuff that your client has never thought of before. They might not have even known that it even existed. The stuff that we can do on the internet these days is unbelievable. And most people in the general public are years behind where the internet actually is. And so when you come to the table and you show people how easy it would be for you to do all of this really crazy stuff that's really going to draw people into your customer's business, it shifts the way everybody thinks. They're not thinking about the website anymore. They're thinking about you. And the reason they're thinking about you is because you're bringing stuff to the table. And so that is the key to all of this stuff. And this is why free website builders don't matter to WordPress developers that can actually crank out something that means something to their customer. And the reason why is because the act of building the website, that's not where the value is. We're not selling websites. We're selling leadership. We're selling guidance. We're selling the passion that you can put into into your work. And you just can't duplicate that with any kind of a free builder of any sort. And it's just night and day difference. It's like, I know that it takes a lot of time sometimes for people that I talk to kind of have the lights click off, but as soon as the lights shine, it suddenly becomes this huge, business changing, life changing paradigm shift in what you're doing. So I wanted to get on and talk to you guys today about that, because there's so many times when people get out there and say, you know what, I just lost another client to Wix, or, I couldn't compete with, the $50 website guy, or the guy who's willing to work for $6 an hour or whatever. Don't compete with that. If that's what your client is insisting on having, find better clients, or even better than that. Instead of that, let your client know, say, hey, I understand what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Other people that have called me have felt the same way as you, but let me tell you what we found. We have found that when you work with us, we're not only able to put a website together for you, we're actually going to help you help people. And that's a huge difference. And it comes in the form of the copy that you write on the page. It comes in the form of the tools and the systems that you put in the site that you can then manage on an ongoing basis and charge real money for that. And your client's going to be happy to pay it because it's paying for itself as new clients come in for them. And that's how you even out that feast or famine thing. You get recurring revenue from the clients you already have. So there's that. And when you put all of that together, you've got the copywriting and how do you tell the story of your client? You've got the tools in place for keeping these systems running on an ongoing basis where you're continually helping your clients. All of that comes together and it's just a totally separate thing. And when your client sees that they're not buying the website, it shifts what they're thinking in terms of the relationship with you. And now we're getting actual coaching. We're getting whatever you want to call it. I know coaching might not be the right word depending on who you work with, but the overall point is they're not buying websites, they're buying you, and you are leading them into success. And that is so much more valuable than a point-and-click website builder. So, let's just keep a focus on that aspect of what we're doing. And I think that you're going to find that when you have the ability to talk to your clients like this, and they understand that you're not trying to just squeeze money out of them, you're trying to help them, almost everybody really appreciates that. And yeah, sometimes it's the case that people just can't afford it and they just can't do it right now, but you'll be in their mind for when they can. And so that's a really big deal. So when people know that you care about them and that you genuinely really want to help them and it's not about the money, that's where you actually start winning. And then, of course, when you start winning, your clients start winning, everyone starts winning. There's actual money in that for you too. So it's not about the money, but there's money in it. So anyway, I just wanted to say all that. I know it's a lot. It's kind of a longer video than usual, but I mean, this is something that I'm really passionate about because it makes such a huge difference between just throwing the internet in the trash can, basically, versus using the internet to do something really, really awesome that helps everybody. So if you have any questions about any of this stuff, or if any of this really resonates with you, share it with other people too. Invite them into the group. Let's all get together here and ramp up our skills so that we can really help clients. And if you want to know more about the skills that are required to pull these things off, if you want to know how to put these systems in place that you can manage on an ongoing basis, if this is stuff that you want to do, if you're serious about your business, you're serious about helping people, but you feel like you just don't have the skills yet for it, or you want to learn more about the mindset, or you want to learn more about how do you do this copywriting stuff, call me up and let's talk about it. So if you go to doublestack.net/call, I've made my schedule available for you to schedule a call with me specifically. So you can go there, you can schedule a call. It'll be in my personal schedule. And I've tried my best to make as many spots open as possible. But again, it is my you're not talking to anyone else that works here or anything like that. You're going to talk specifically to me. And so therefore, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to get an appointment. But if you head over there, like right now, I've got some time available. You can head over there right now and go to doublestack.net/call, pick a time to talk, and we can talk about your business. We can talk about where you are right now. We can talk about where you want to be. And if I can help you close that gap, I will absolutely talk to you about how to do that. Hey, and you know what? If I can't, if there's something that you want to do that I can't do, I'll do everything that I can to point you in the direction to get the help that you need. So if you want to go and talk to me about this stuff, head over to doublestack.net/call, schedule a call. It's totally free, and it'll be about 45 minutes on the phone with me. And we'll talk about how to get you to where you want to be so that you can genuinely start helping clients and start crushing it. So if that sounds good to you, awesome. And look forward to talking to you. And I'll also see you guys again Thursday, 2:00. We'll do another one of these talks. Thanks so much for showing up. And I hope you guys had an awesome Memorial Day weekend. Take care, guys.